Hey guys, happy Monday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at alliseeisW. In today's video, we'll be covering the latest updates with ETH Treasury companies. We'll be covering BMNR, SBET, and BTBT. I'll share with you my price predictions and how high can Ethereum really go. And between the three Ethereum treasury companies, which one do I believe has the biggest upside? We'll cover all of those details, but if you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by. I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. Let's first take a look at this post from Crypto Gems. He's saying Ethereum 10,000 end of 2025. Are we going to see Ethereum have a breakout session? We know that it's getting close to breaking out of that 4,000 zone. It's only going to be a matter of time where we're going to see Ethereum have a nice run up. Crypto Goose poses Ethereum will explode just like Bitcoin did in 2021. We've seen Bitcoin, in the year 2021 when the relative strength at is around 60, then it had, that breakout session with this, bullish pennant flag drawn. What are we seeing right now with Ethereum's current price? Very similar bullish pennant flag drawn out. We're getting a lot more volume with Ethereum. In fact, you look at BlackRock, they created, ETFs like ETHA. That's getting a lot more sentiment along with ETHE. There's been so much activity. In fact, over the weekend, Ethereum actually had more volume activity for the very first time than Bitcoin. However, we know Bitcoin is the mother coin. There's no second best, but Ethereum, in terms of its price, it's showing really good performance right now, and it has potential to like really outperform, a significant amount of cryptocurrencies out there. Evan posts about BMNR, and he posted, just put out this filing. Who wants to explain exactly what's happening here beyond just dilution to buy Ethereum? So Bitmine Immersion Technologies, right after market closures, they're proposing to, just continue to buy Ethereum by raising more shares, and that causes dilution. And what happened today? It dropped during the stock market 11%. And in the after hours with this news, it dropped an additional 16%. Price even dropped to like $29. So, are we going to continue to see BMNR drop, or what's going to happen? In fact, the entire Ethereum treasury companies, they had a pullback today. But from my perspective, here's an opportunity to dollar cost average down. Even Cathy Wood, she increased her, total share count. So she's been buying BMNR. I mean, it's Tom Lee. He's leading the show right now. Two big time whales. I mean, Tom Lee as a leader, Cathy Wood's buying into the story. She's been buying, and she continues to add more shares today with 572,000 shares of Tom Lee's BMNR. She's taking advantage of this. Will BMNR continue to go down? Sure, it can. However, there's just going to be upside, especially with Ethereum price to go up. We know that BMNR has the most amount of Ethereum out of any company right now. It's only going to be up from here, even though today was a huge pullback. Pillow Swing posts about SBET. Watch this bull flag for a breakout. So what are we seeing? A bull flag drawn out. Yes, we did see price, go from like $8 all the way up to like $41. Then we started seeing a pullback. Relative strength got so hot. It's expected for, SBET to take a slight breather, but it's only until the MACD RSI starts stabilizing will we start seeing SBET have a wave two. But right now, I definitely do see that, it'll stabilize for more time before that next run up with SBET. SharpLink, SBET, they posted one asset, one conviction. In fact, one of the news that came out was the fact that now they have a replacement CEO who actually worked at BlackRock, where, he has experience with IBIT creating that ETF for Bitcoin. So with that experience, bringing it to SBET, it's only going to be up from here. Ethereum is a strong asset right now. A lot of people are believing in it. BlackRock's buying up significant amount of Ethereum, and with SBET being a big time whale buying significant amount of Ethereum, once the Ethereum price runs up to like 8,000, 10,000. Think about how high the share price can go with SBET. I could really see the share price go up to like $100. We've already seen it bypass 41 current price right now. Yes, it took a pullback, but it's only going to have its climb up again over time. Sam Tabar, CEO of Bit Digital. So interesting thing about BTBT is that they were a Bitcoin miner. They actually held on to Bitcoin a significant amount, but they went ahead and shifted gears to become an Ethereum treasury company, selling off their Bitcoin to buy Ethereum. And he posted today, the general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought from the art of war, Sun Tzu. So Sam Tabar, I mean, he actually had interviews with Michael Saylor at one point in a room, and Saylor, tried to orange pill him with Bitcoin, and Sam said, if I get out of Bitcoin mining, I may very well just buy up Ethereum as a treasury company. And Saylor gave him the look. But you know what? There may be potential in Ethereum, and we're hearing, forecasts of it going up to like 8,000, 15,000. So eventually this asset will continue to grow, and the early adopters with these Ethereum related companies have significant upside before more and more companies start adopting. Let's pivot over to technical analysis for Ethereum. So Ethereum, today, it had a pullback. I mean, it crept up to like 3,900, had some resistance, and then it took a dip today. It bounced off at 3,700. It fell down to 3,750. And now, we're getting close to that 3,800. Not a big, worry. I do think that, we're just going to consolidate. We will see it climb. I really do foresee that, 4,000, we may very well break it in July, definitely in August. There's more to come. There's huge upside. Volume continues to increase with Ethereum. There's a lot more attention with this, and eventually we will continue to see Ethereum price climb. And this is why the Ethereum treasury companies had a pullback today. But let's take a look at technicals on BMNR. So we saw back in early July, this puppy ran all the way up. RSI overbought 95, MACD, huge bullish divergence. This puppy ran from like single digit stock to $161. That is a huge run up, especially with the news from Tom Lee, really trying to drive this company towards becoming an Ethereum treasury company. Since then, it's been taking a pullback. RSI is taking a breather. I didn't expect for BMNR to drop more throughout the day. I mean, dropping 5%. I thought that's where it was going to continue to hover, but then it dropped an additional like 5%. And in the aftermarket with the news announcement, that dropped it even further. It'll be interesting to see, where we're headed tomorrow. But I really do think that, for, the rest of the week, along with the following week, we will continue to see it climb. I could easily see BMNR get back. It could, get back into the $60 range. Whether that's going to be August, September, we will see. But now that we're seeing RSI stabilize, definitely a great buying opportunity for BNR before we see that next wave up. Let's take a look at SBET. So SBET has been gaining traction as well as a hot Ethereum company. It had an RSI shooting up to like 95. It had a huge run up, back in May, had a pullback, and then it had a nice run up from like $8 all the way up to like $40. I mean, it had like 12 consecutive green days, and then since then, it's having a pullback after RSI, topped off. But now it's kind of like is now a good buying opportunity if you believe in the story of Ethereum, headed to new levels. Then I really do think, companies like SBET will benefit as well. Yes, we did see it run up to like $40 where it currently is, 50% from that top. It may drop even further, but you know what? I do think that the support is going to be established around this area, and then we're going to see that next leg up. I could easily see this stock get up to like, $50, whether that's going to be in August, September. So be on the lookout. SBET has huge potential, especially with this pullback. BTBT is another stock, to monitor. I've been covering BTBT as well. Yes, we did see a run up as soon as the company announced it was going to focus on Ethereum, and it had a pullback from like a run up top of 430. Then it hit 320, and then it ran back up to like 450. Then it's, down to today, it dropped to like 298. I do think this is definitely a great buying opportunity. Yes, we don't know whether it will continue dropping, but the risk is much lower now given the fact that, it had a big pullback from its run up top of 450 at $3. I definitely do think, here is an opportunity for a reversal. I'm thinking RSI is going to have a pop. BTPT hasn't really had a significant run up similar to what we've seen with like BMNR and SBET. So, $6, we may very well expect that to be coming, whether that's going to be, in August, September. But be on the lookout. $6 is going to be coming, and we may very well even see $10 as we head towards 2025. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode where I covered Ethereum related companies with BMNR, SBET, BTBT. Most of you are wondering which play is the most bullish one. I'm curious to hear what your comments are, questions down below. But between these three, I really do think that now that there's been some downward movement with the price, if you believe in the story with Ethereum, now may be the time to consider taking a look at Ethereum treasury stocks. BMNR, SBET, BTBT, they all look really solid right now, especially with the price, dropping down. So again, do your research, take my information as guidance. And between three, they all look really good. So I think they will all start having a nice run up. I hope you enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you guys.